We should be good. Let's go ahead and check over here on my iPad real quick. And we should be ready to go. Just give me 1 minute. Oh, crap. Okay. Don't worry, you won't have to wait long. Fans a little loud. But I can deal with that, that's fine. We'll just turn that down a smidge. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh. There we go. A little bit of a drink. Alright. Let's turn this up. Load it up. Let's get ready for the bullshit. We must have a controller connected for this game. No shit, Sherlock. Oh boy. Here comes the tomfuckery. Court is now in session for... How do I even say that? Machi to buy, Your Honor. The pixie of the Archipelago. Right, his trial. Court is now in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Goblin. My opening statement, Ja. No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you. Yes? Say you're going to visit somebody in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who's terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? Her son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups ever say what's on their mind instead of pretending? Oh my god, you are all the way away from me, holy shit. Hey, what's up, Patrice? We have a similar name, what's going on? My name is Patrick, if you didn't know, but thanks for joining me. Hey, Eunice, what's going on? Let's see if you guys can help me figure out this tricky trial today. She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? And I did curse. I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly. You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be going to the hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Latouche, age 35. The global manager for Diva Songsters, Lenoir. The cause of death? Blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence. Death due to loss of blood from gunshot wound. Estimated time of death was in between 9 and 9:30. So there was a 30-minute time gap it took him to die. Okay. 45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. However, the bullet stuck in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Damage was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was so much that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse considering. Uh-oh. Yo, what's up, Kevy? Thanks for joining, dude. We're just now on our third case. Hopefully, I know it's going to be a multiple day case, but hopefully it's not too convoluted. Crime photo. Victim shot in shoulder in Lenoir's room. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed. The other one penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the crime scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the This is where the bullets hit. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Yeah, hopefully you can help me out. If you see anything, let me know. We're gonna have to cross-examine someone who doesn't speak English, so this is gonna be rather interesting. Oh. Hey, I do my best for the voices, or I at least attempt to. I try to diverse my voices. I'm not good at doing the female ones. The dudes, I try to do the best work with. Don't try to tell me to become a voice actor, though. I suck at that. Alright, let's do this. Really? Yeah, apparently, weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in the dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshot. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet, when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible! Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tabai. Only this defendant could have committed the crime? But how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime make the scene that much more clear. This is Ace Attorney, right? Yes. This is the second trilogy. This is the Apollo Justice. So this is after Phoenix Wright trio of games from 2001. This is the remake of the 2007 trilogy. Please excuse me a minute. See if that helps a little bit. Too much. The first one's great if you can finish it. It has a lot of great twists. This one is more up to date, has a lot more involvement per se. Hold on, give me a minute. Let me make this right for you. Somehow I messed it up. Okay, cool. There we go. And it is fire so far. I like Apollo. Trucy's cool. I won't say the connection with her or anything else because it's spoilers. I guess in a way, but I really like the character so far. Some of the older ones actually make a return in this game. If you're playing the trilogy in the second game, I think, you'll encounter Emma and Lana Skye. Emma's the younger one that likes science shit. She's back in this game. She's a scientific investigator. Like, kind of little stuff like that is cool that they bring back. It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well. I assume you have a testimony to back up this claim? Please show the witness to the stand. Your name and profession, please? Emma Skye. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail for the concert. Oh my god. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. No, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes her feel much better, Judge. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. All right. Murderous circumstances. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. It was lucky that there was a detective that was first on the scene. But that door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. And I don't get it. How could they say Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin their cross-examination. This is cheap, but we save some in case anything bad happens. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was the detective doing in security detail, I might ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys. That whole morning, no, the entire day was ruined. And it's because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own. What is this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. Love, slow acting and new, quinine is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put a detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see. I can accept that. Well, I can't. What do you mean, time on their hands? Please, the testimony. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then? And then, at the beginning of the third set, I heard gunshots. I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos. Ah, there ain't no snacking in the court. And you're sure the shots came from Lampoir's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Ow. Ah, thanks. So, how about, Emma? We were right there. Hard to... Please, either talk or eat. Not both at the same time. Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found bodies. Rock? Blaring, yes. When you say rock, are you perhaps referring to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days? Yo, what's up, Gabriel? That's right. When we went into the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage to the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the Gabineers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul, baby. I always have the backstage monitors in full volume. When we walked into the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime. If you can hear that music playing, then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. How could you have known something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from that room, that door. What game are you playing? This is Apollo Justice. I will put it in chat for you. There you go. We know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack. And I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility. The air vent. Ah. But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child? Remember, access to those rooms is limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And of all the people involved with that concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. No problem. The defendant? The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture. Oh, there's no other way to leave out of that room. You were there. You should have known, Air Forehead. And there is another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? Wait, what? Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had been recently opened. Wait, what? And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant Machitaba's fingerprints. What? Order, order, order! That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on that grill. Well, Air Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one can pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our Pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence? Quite decisive indeed. I believe that is enough of that. What? The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could have possibly left the scene. Therefore, simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. It can't be over already. Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence, the prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain. Apollo, they got us on the ropes already. We'd better come up with something quick. I know. Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence, or a witness that can prove Machitabai is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that, Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now. This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's over. The court wants contradicting proof? Call a witness? Call for evidence. Oh, shit. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim there were no witnesses to this crime? Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I'd swear to it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atrocotine, My Love. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness. Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess the knowledge prosecution clearly does not? Because I'm the only one in the world who knows who it is. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Cold. So cold. You're cold. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who is the witness? The witness is What? The victim said this before he died? Perhaps he did, and perhaps he didn't. What do you mean by that? All we know is what Air Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. That's enough! Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for? Ugh, so backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. Fuck, she's 40? Goddamn, bitch. Lamoire, recall Mr. Latus's last words. The witness is silent. The siren? Aha! He meant the siren. That's right, the siren of the ballad, Lamoire. Lamoire was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I say, well, Prosecutor Gavin, my claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime. Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lamoire to the witness stand. Lamoire would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today, we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom. You were too kind. You can speak English? Yes, I can. Though I'm not very good. There's much I do not know. You speak so well. Have you spent time here before? Actually, I don't know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. What does she mean by she doesn't know? I too thought to call her as witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lamoire suffers from amnesia. Amnesia? Lamoire is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Wow, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As a lauded singer, Lamoire, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. Give me a minute, I'm taking a drink. Holy sugar, goddamn. Okay. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamoire. Thank you. Yet, there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness? What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lamoire, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my! Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. What I saw. As for what I saw, I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then, I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That's where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying. I hope he wasn't too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go! Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet. Lamoire wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. From what I saw nothing. But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you. Mr. Latouche? How can I tell you what I don't know? Lamoire, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I don't know what he meant to say, but that night, I was invited to sing on stage, and that I did. It was a great concert. You heard me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course. Mr. Justice, this is the cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice. Oh, Judge. What's this? It's my autograph. Now keep the trial moving. What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy. Apparently his grandson's a big fan. Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lamoire. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance. I did not return backstage after the second set. You didn't return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. And was Machi with you at the time? Unfortunately, I don't know where he was. So much for an alibi for Machi. Then, I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. Oh, shit. It's Machi, correct? He was, how was he then? He seemed like, as he always does. Though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latouche's death. Yet, he's not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. And questioning hasn't gotten us very far. We sat there, waiting. That's where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latouche died. Of course, investigations require some security. But Mr. Latouche was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. But both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand. Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Lamoire lying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me about the night of the murder? So I have to present something. There's the lyric sheet. Investigation request. To ensure efficiency and secrecy of the investigation, the bearer is hereby ordered to speak to no one outside of the investigation. The public postcard, sightseeing. Found at the crime that belongs to Lamoire. So that night I was invited on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after a second set. Do we present the jewel to that? I'm sorry, Lamoire, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lamoire's. She was wearing it for her song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime. What? Lamoire, how did your brooch get backstage if you didn't go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you've been wearing it during your performance that night. What's the meaning of this? Lamoire, please explain. Lamoire? Bruh. Bro, that's bullshit. You can't fucking just go to not talking in English when you were just talking English a second ago. What the hell? That trick's not gonna work here. Oh, shit. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Cold. So cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help's on the way. The witness is Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Yipes, Emma? What was that? Who's that? Oh. What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. I could have sworn I heard a door close. I looked into the room, just a glance, mind you. So this is when your brooch dropped? That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. But that's ridiculous. You only looked for an instant, but you dropped your brooch? Air forehead. She has raised the possibility. The only one that can counter that is evidence. So she walked in at the scene of the crime. Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Their foreheads shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed. I closed the door immediately. Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamoire, you did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. When my performance was finished, I went backstage for a moment. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouche's body was behind a wall. Oh, I can perceive now? His body was behind a wall. Use that fucking diagram. No, he wasn't. Motherfucker. Never mind. I didn't press her on everything. Damn it. Oh, I presented the brooch here. Yep. So I wasn't high. I did hear 2 doors close. Sorry, we gotta rush back through this. I thought I saved before that. I guess I gotta press her on everything first. So we want her to add that to her testimony. Oh, it's up there though, so I guess like when she says something I gotta perceive it. A wall? Was there a wall there? Is what in English? A division or partition, I believe. It's a large dressing room divided into 2 halves, and the murder took place on the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body. How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail when Mr. Letiza died. Think. What doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine that more lying. So she's lying about something. Okay. What I saw nothing. You saw nothing as a problem because there was literally like 2 big ass holes on the wall. So can I not fucking show that? No, that's not anything. You saw nothing. Damn it, I would have thought it was the gun because it was on the floor. That rubs me the wrong way. Why would you be led to his room? I may have seen the world, but I've seen your heart. You were flustered during your testimony just now. Hmm? I do not understand what it is you are saying. Perhaps this is a joke in your culture? She doesn't seem very flustered to me, Apollo. Maybe I got that one wrong. Damn it. Hachi, correct? How was he then? He seemed like he always does, but he was in shock. Before I learned something had happened, but wasn't told the details. That's not a lie. Hold the weight there. Let's look at the evidence again. Guitar case and motorcycle. What could it be? I'm already having freaking trouble. Jesus. Ew. The late Mr. Latus's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Latus's death than you were saying. What? I can see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It is so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? One moment, Lemoire. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? Yes? She was hiding something, I knew it. Lemoire, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Huh? How could that be? Take this. Lemoire contradicted her own testimony and I have proof. Tell me, Lemoire, how did you know he had been shot? Huh? Well, Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latus had been shot, which hadn't been shared. How could you have known? Lemoire, you weren't hiding something from the court, I hope. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so. I saw bullet holes in the wall and I knew Mr. Latus had been shot. Nigga, huh? Only a glimpse, yet you knew there were bullet holes? Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know. You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country, Doc. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lemoire someday. Plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour too. Alright, so this bullshit. I saw bullet holes in the wall. No, you didn't. What the fuck? No, you didn't. Dude, why are you lying to me? What the fuck? The lies are hardly becoming of a creature. A pardon worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your characters, yeah? Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lemoire, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall. They were in the wall the door is on. Huh? You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't see those bullet holes. Lemoire? Yes? I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something. And I must tell you? I must tell you what it is that I saw? Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it. What I'm going to do is put my stuff on the charger across the room real quick. Hopefully
I don't have to read too much from across the room. If you guys are talking in the chat, I will do my best to read. Thank you for all the likes on the stream. I appreciate it. I think I accidentally bumped my phone again. Let me go ahead and fix that for you guys real quick. It's as good as it's gonna get without it falling over. Alright, let's go. It falls on you to avoid tarnishing it. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Latouche died. And he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lamour. Very well. Lamour, please continue your testimony. Very well, I shall. What I saw? I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was. So you did witness the crime. And the killer was a grown man, you say? This is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Air Forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination. Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lamour. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy, that's what's wrong. What I saw. On my way. Okay, so when the bracelet pops up, that means I have to perceive her habit. Her habit of swallowing when she says something. Okay. I was on my way backstage, from the stage to the backstage exit. So you were heading to the drifting room? Yes. So this is a little bit before she opened up the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots. I was on my way back. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes? You need not worry, Lamour. Your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail? That little window on the wall. I saw the crime from there. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. You were certain you heard 2 shots fired? Yes, I'm quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer. And there are 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradiction so far. It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do. But it wasn't Machi. It wasn't Machi who shot? Are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is a testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object? Yeah, Apollo, what were you thinking? Trucy, let's just listen to what she has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure? Yes, of course. You see, It was a grown person. I know it was. A grown person? That's a little vague. I'm sorry. My skills with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man. A young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes, his voice was quite clear. Voice?
Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, you rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I don't forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche?
Absolutely not. Did I not say I don't forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice and the voice of a young man?
Apollo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't him.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it could cast this case into a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on this testimony?
It's contradictory. Because how did she drop her brooch in the room? Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lammoir's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Air Forehead. You're colder than I thought. I'm sure you remember the problem as well as I do, Mr. Gavin. If she peeked in through the fucking door and said she didn't see the body when this happened, how did you drop your brooch in there? As has been established, no grown man can pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lammoir has to be lying. I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea is tempting. Is it as Air Forehead says? Yet, this is not the only contradiction within her testimony. What next? What's he talking about? Lammoir, I understand that you want to protect Machi, yet remember you were the siren of the ballad, and lies do not become of such a creature.
What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? I recall the state of the crime seemed quite well. The state of the room? Yes, and when the murder took place, the window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. What? But I'm sure.
Lammoir?
I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser. But she's the only eyewitness we have. So you say. And the victim named her, the siren, as the witness? That's right. That's what Mr. Latouche. We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility and brought us to this. Herr Judge?
Yes?
The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please.
I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility.
But if Lammoir can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case.
Dankai. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I would like to hear from Fraulein Detective again. Wait, let me hear Lammoir's testimony one more time.
But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as a need arises, this witness may leave the stand.
I'm sorry I cannot be of more assistance. At last, back to being a real trial. Ready, Air Forehead? I hope I didn't just miss my only chance. Fräulein Detective, how far, had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. I dislike saying the same thing twice. And I never repeat a song for an encore.
If you would, Miss Guy.
I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Latus's killer could have escaped was through that air vent in the ceiling.
Yes. There was only one door in that room, and a witness. You was standing in front of it.
That air vent isn't very big, you see. Kind of limits the people who could pass through.
I certainly would have a difficult time.
You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was on limits to people not involved with the concert. The only ones who meets conditions for our killers are defended. A virtuoso performance. I couldn't have put it better myself.
She does state a clear case. Though, reading the report, something's caught my eye.
Oh, what's that?
The circumstances of the defendant's arrest.
The circumstances? Again? Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Latus's body disappear from the room and end up on top of the stage tower, holding a guitar, no less? A perceptive observation there, Judge.
Oh, thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough, you'll get a nose for these things.
The judge sort of seems pleased with himself. Indeed, I'm still cooking. I'll be here for a little bit longer, Kevy. I appreciate you sticking around for a bit, man. I really do appreciate it. Love any support that comes through, man. Anyone who comes through and chills with me about this. These cases take pretty long, bro. Very good, Fräulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us? Why was the body moved? And how did that lead us to the killer? The missing body. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamwar's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Lamwar's song? Yes, the guitar serenade. You noticed it's code too, did you not? It's code? All the events that day followed the song, the lyrics to our song. First, the keys to my heart held on to so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Latus's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar, up together to the sky.
That's mad! It's like a story out of some fairy tale.
Oh shit. Hell yeah. I'm like, I'll probably be on for probably another 30 minutes or whenever this hits intermission if you want to chill around for a bit. Like I said, I appreciate it. I admit, I had forgotten about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me. The grand finale, as it were. Hey, you know I was the one who noticed it first.
I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs. But killing?
It's a wild world out there, Air Judge.
Very well. We've heard one song and dance. Let's go on into the next. The cross-examination.
I'm not sure I'm gonna be doing much singing. Missing body. Who would steal a body just to match some lyrics? I didn't believe it myself, but it can't just be coincidence. It is as Fraulein Detective says. Let us begin with the first verse, if you would, Fraulein Detective. What? You want me to sing it? You are the witness, yeah? Or did you want me to sing? I warn you, my fee as vocalist is not trivial. Fine, fine, ahem. Let's look at the first part of the lyrics, shall we? When you stole the keys to my heart, held on to so tight. Indeed, my favorite heart-shaped key ring was stolen that morning. Next, we go to the right page of the lyric sheet, where we find burden out of my heart, fire, burn my love away, all away. As we know, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. Like a bullet of love, fire, take my life away, all away. Mr. Latus's life was taken by a bullet. Bravo, Fraulein Detective, you're singing, it's not bad. Now for the finale. Guitar, guitar, up together the sky. As it says in the lyrics, Mr. Latus was found with the guitar high in the sky over the stage. No series of coincidences could have been so well conceived. He's right, scientifically speaking. What would Wacky have said? That concert was whack. It's hard to argue when she pours her heart into it like that. Anyway, the shooter moved the body to match Lamwar's song. Does the prosecution have any idea why he do all this? You want my scientific opinion? No clue. But he clearly had a reason to go through all that trouble. Some deep reason. A deep reason? Not only did he steal my keys, he torched my guitar. Unforgivable acts, even if he had a reason. And worse if he had none. Diva's complaints aside, I can't imagine someone doing this on a whim. Fraulein Detective, I take offense to... And Grade, it does seem too well rehearsed, shall we say. Yes, this crime was planned for sure. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. But Mr. Latus spoke English. He may have come to this country before. I looked into that, and I assure you. Oh. It was his first time in the country, it seems. Apparently he learned English on his own. Great. You see? No one here had a motive to kill him. And certainly not in such an elaborate fashion. It does seem a bit difficult to imagine. Unless our famous prosecutor did it as a publicity stunt. What did you say? Prosecutor Gavin, you did this to promote your song? Of course not. Not quite this many, but a ludicrous nature of her claim. Why would I need promotion? Everyone already listens to my music. They're even in my textbook at school. And I'd never heard of them. What does that say about me? I was just kidding. Don't get all worked up, Glimmer Boy. And Machi practically left his signature at the crime scene. What? What do you mean by a signature? The bullet hole to the wall, of course. The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. And that means what exactly? That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off of the victim in there. You can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would have been difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No, you can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. That's why he missed. It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used the sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. That reminds me, the monitor of that room was blasting at the time, Ja. Hardly ideal conditions tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I knew those bullets would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice. What do I do now? Raise an objection. Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall, but that doesn't prove that the shooter couldn't see. Oh? How so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? The revolver was a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate their shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Machi Tobai, is, as you see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would have thrown off his aim. A convincing argument, to be sure. Huh, take that, smug prosecution. Apollo? What? That bit about Machi being tiny, and the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting he did it? Oh, shit. It doesn't matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter, without a doubt, was without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. Ah! Fuck. Christ, I really put my foot in my mouth this time. But let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Fräulein Detective. Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony. Right. From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. The prosecution holds the shooter couldn't see. A scientific conclusion based on a thorough examination of the crime scene, yes. Apparently not thorough enough. I have a certain piece of evidence that completely overturns your claim. What? This is that evidence. The photograph of the crime scene? I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face. But this is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There's something here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to use, Ja. Very well, show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction at the scene of the crime is... Look, the contradiction is right here, plain as day. Your finger has a force of weight. Then I'm afraid your argument lacks, Mr. Justice. I see nothing. Damn it. What a time to mess up. I believe all he added to our understanding. Damn it. Contradiction at the crime scene is... Contradiction is right here. The smeared blood stains. I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head, much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court. It's almost as if he wrote something. Aha, I get it. At least I think I get it. Gee, or get what, Fraulein? When Mr. Latouche was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write with the shooter's name? And what would he write in his own blood? Oh, but in his own blood. Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here.
That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
The victim wrote the killer's name. It's clearly a logical conclusion. Drat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it was rubbed out. Why, if I were the killer, I certainly wouldn't want my own name being left behind.
Neither would I. No one has anything to say?
About what?
So the prosecution accepts this. You agree this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Latouche was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw what it was... Wait. Once he saw what it was? But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said they were blind. Ah! Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind the court that the defendant Machito is blind? He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible!
Order, order, order! Prosecutor Gallup, please explain what this all means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet, until now...
It seems I owe the court an apology. The Cavaliers are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred during our concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us. I've got an idea. Let's rock. With these documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective, if I may. What? Tell me. Why do you think that Machito Bai is blind? Huh? What did he say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course. He's the blind pianist, right? So he... Doesn't Lamora lead him around with a hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant Machito Bai. According to this, Machito Bai can see perfectly fine. What? His blindness was merely publicity ploy by the clever Virginians. He can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Herr Forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was the Fraulein detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Machito Bai sees. And he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. Oh boy. I see no problems with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Herr Forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. How's that? I'm afraid your objection is just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Air Forehead. I knew you didn't have what it took. You jerk! Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize. Oh, sorry. That's no way to apologize. He's angered the Trucy now. Look out.
If we can please end the bickering now.
Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to resolve this case, even if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant.
Don't say that. What? It's bloodstained. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right?
That seems to be what happened, yes.
We might be able to find out what was really written here. Really? You could do that? That's right. With this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it? It's chemical that reacts to blood.
Ah, yes.
Have we done those tests yet? As if I'm gonna tell you. The bloodstains covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, that section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we could request it here in the court now? Right, go for it, Apollo. Huh? I have to do the test. You just have to spray the luminol on it. It's simple. Chemical that reacts to blood. I heard of this somewhere. Oh boy. Yo, what's up, Reaper? How's it going?
Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Right, ready? It's as easy as pie. Just press the A button to spray the area. Here, give it a try. The eyes of the entire court are focused on me. Apollo, your hands are shaking. Let's do this. Wow, it really works. This must be the power of science. It says, what the fuck does that mean? IPXX 314206. What the hell is that? Do more streams on your PS4. Or my PS5, you mean. Don't worry, I'll start doing more of them on my PS5. This is just a game, like games that are on my Xbox, because I don't want to stream on my Twitch. I'm doing it this way since I can get, more of you guys in here to see this stuff. I will be doing more PS5 streams throughout the week this week, though. Look out for those. Don't worry, I got you. Is that the killer's name?
Maybe it was if the killer was...
I have it. So, what is it? I thought those letters IPXX looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number. Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency? Yes. Most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. But why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Lucas even know a number like that? Good show, Fräulein Detective. Rock on. Huh? Your Honor, can we verify this number immediately? Darian, are you there? Come up to the witness stand. Darian, you heard what we need. Go check this Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure. Give me 30 minutes. No, 20 seconds.
I'm not sure what to think of all this. Prosecution's cases are airtight, or so it seems. Yet, if this number is really that of an Interpol agent...
Oh, wait, I know. What if Machito Bai is really an undercover Interpol agent? That would be a possibility.
A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain.
Why did Mr. Latouche know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know. Well, we have some time while we wait for Darion's report, yeah? Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machito Bai. What are you talking about? Fräulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word the defendant could, in fact, see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until the last bit. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see? Exactly. It makes little sense. Why do you think, Air Forehead? Huh? Me? Machito Bai pretended he was blind. Do you know why? How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on this whole time. Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of a game? No, that the moment I heard that report, I knew why.
I suppose people who were sold over 1 million copies really are something else.
What does that have to do with anything? There was a reason why Machito Bai pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Get the picture now? It wasn't for him?
Well, Mr. Justice?
Oh, shit. I'm being tested again.
Can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had a foreign blindness? Or had to feign blindness?
Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means, no, it couldn't be. Good show, Air Forehead. It seems you've thought of something. Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I hate having to take cues from this guy. Very well, look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see.
Oh boy.
I think I saved right before this. Why? This is why he was pretending he couldn't see. That is Lamoire? Lamoire and Machito Bai. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. Lamoire and our pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, that's because he was blind. She led him at all times, never letting him go. All times? Yet, we have just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Machi could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time?
Well, wasn't that part of their performance?
I think there's a simpler explanation. Machi did not want to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing. Really? Really, it was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand
was Lamoire. What's this? So, you mean to say Lamoire, she's... Yep, Your Honor, Lamoire is blind. What the fuck? Okay, I wasn't expecting that. What? Oh, you know what? That's why she didn't leave the room. That's why she had to have an escort back to the room. But Machi's like, oh, can I step outside real quick? Like, if you're blind, you wouldn't leave her side. And that's why she stayed in the room. This is crazy. Prosecutor Gavin! Is it now? Please shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim. The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is his vast forehead. Yet, I see it as not vast and vain this time. He's quite correct, Your Honor. But that makes no sense. Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her here, why not ask Lamoire herself? I believe she's still in the oh my god. I still believe she is still in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me. I have no idea she could see, or she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now. Bailiff, bring in Lamoire. Oh no. Her eyes are gray though. Her eyes are gray though. I feel bad now. Lamoire, it pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way, and yet I must. Please, do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see? Really? It is true. How funny is it that a tiny lie born in the Borgian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world? So you are? Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamoire. No, too many that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamoire. I see. You may recall me saying something toward the beginning of the trial, there, Forehead. What's that? I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses. Oh. I feel like an asshole now, bro. What the hell? This isn't fair. Now, Lamoire, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intention to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor? Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here. I think we're all a little bit lost, Your Honor. My eyes. Lamoire's eyes. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So, silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others. But this is a murder trial. I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret, no matter what. My music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would... She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said that she saw nothing. Very well. Does the defendant or the defense have anything to add? I'd like to cross-examine. But what is there left to ask? There is one thing in her testimony that bothered me. Perhaps it is best we let you get that out of your system. Someday you'll come up to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Very well. The defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness.
Okay. There was only one part of her testimony that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy. Was it the last part? When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche? Of course, he was my manager, so he knew, and that's what's been bugging me.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
I believe I know what's bothering our young defense attorney. You're thinking of when you discovered the body, yes? Is he right, Apollo? Yes, I was. He's alive. I'm not reading this again. Oh. He was saying the witness can't see. He was saying Lamoire was there, but she couldn't see anything. Asked the witness and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know. Tisk. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself. Meaning what? There's no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness siren. We've heard them many times, along with the little play acting by our defense. I remember them well myself, but that statement is not to what I refer to. I mean what he said before that. Before? What came before that? Oh, shit. That's right. He tried to tell you, when he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness.
I see.
Too bad the defense did not. Well, there, forehead, try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time. Ah!
Order, order.
Recall Lamoire's earlier testimony. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that.
That's not the most important part here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through the window. Why else would he have named her as the witness? But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots and a man's voice. Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We've already run a simulation, of course. But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant.
Your Honor, what is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in the middle of a session here?
We have the results back from the investigation.
The investigation?
Ah, the Interpol number that Mr. Latouche left us.
Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterwards. Detective Crescent, your report, please.
I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing. Quick work as always, Dorian. Well, tell us about the number.
Is the defendant a secret agent?
That. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche.
What?
An undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation. So when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity. And a cautious killer tried to wipe them away. Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent. So him being Lamor's manager was just a cover, most likely. There's one other important detail I found. Well, how with it? It concerns that 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently it belonged to him. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on the revolver matched. So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense, yeah. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver. So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. I wonder how that ties into everything. It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that, Detective Crescent. Oh, no problem, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Wait! Lamar! Is something the matter? That voice just now! Darian? Mr. Darian, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it. Damn! She did say she would recognize the voice if she heard it again. Oh. Uh-oh.
It was him?
You weren't saying. That voice I heard, talking to Mr. Latouche, when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darian. Is this some kind of a joke? What? No way.
You're telling me Mount Rushmore killed him?
The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state, the trial had to be suspended temporarily. I'd never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Lamar fingering Darian Crescent. Phrasing? Hello? Not only is he a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice Lamar heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey, no lumping out now, Apollo.
Oh boy.
Well, I think that's a good spot to leave off on, boys, girls, ladies, and gents. I appreciate you guys coming through for the stream. We will either do more of this tomorrow or we will give it a break and we will try to stream something on my PlayStation tomorrow. Tune into my stream when I go live, and we'll chill for a while tomorrow since it's my Friday. But I appreciate you guys. Have a nice day, afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you may be. Appreciate you, dudes. Later.